Hello. I'm just going live because I found some information that I wanted to digest and be confronted with for the first time in this manner. Together. Together with people that are going to respond, that are going to send comments. I'm going to read this. The microbiome versus the germ theory. So a microbiome versus a germ theory. I'm just reading this. At the turn of the 21st century, the discovery of the human microbiome revealed that viruses are not only let me do that again. At the turn of the 21st century, the discovery of the human microbiome revealed that viruses are not only indispensable for our health, constituting the so-called human virome, but have also been essential in creating our biological form. Now, for me, in my meditative practice and in how I just I feel my existence coming out of my being, that rings true. I mean, I just see myself as a sort of liquid crystal condensed formation of a being of light is what, I think that the consciousness resides in a kind of star, a kind of light that then, emanates. And that's how DNA has, with, womb kind of like this using resonance to define the shell into which our form is going to flow into. That's kind of my personal path of discovery from doing some also meditation and this thing called eurythmy, which is the Western version of Qigong. So let's read on, and I'm reading what Sayer Ji, I really am not sure how to pronounce your name, and I'd love to know how to pronounce it, but here we have approximately 11% of our DNA is retroviral in origin, with viral sequences enabling the creation of the mammalian placenta and the relatively massive size and neuroplasticity of our unique brains. 11% of our DNA is retroviral in origin. So what are we doing with these tests? Are we finding pieces of ourselves and then thinking that it's wrong that it's there? Moreover, the microvesicles produced by all our cells, also known as exosomes, and the cells of all living things are fundamentally viral-like in nature. I think that's something that everybody can sort of feel, right? So you have, like, how did the liver become the liver? And how did the kidneys become the kidneys? And how did our muscular flesh node become the muscular flesh? Like, something had to, like, kind of something had to communicate. Something had to pull it all together, and something had to create each one of us into the unique beings that we are. Conversely, viruses, including HIV, influenza, and coronavirus, are exosome-like. The similarity between viruses and exosomes is so profound that they are, in fact, often biologically indistinguishable. Okay, I mean, I'm letting this in. I'm gonna, so we've got physical level, emotional level, cognitive level, spiritual level. I still have some work to do to really profoundly and deeply understand this on a cognitive level, and I'd like to, right? Even if we define influenza, for instance, as hijacked exosomes, the reality is that all viruses defined as obligate or obligate, I'm going to say obligate intercellular parasites are incapable of replicating on their own. one might wonder how we attribute such inexorable lethality and transmissibility. One might wonder how we attribute such inexorable lethality and transmissibility to them if they are inert without us. If they are inert without us is the key of that sentence. I like big words, and these are really big words, and I have not prepared. So I have not looked at, is it inexorable or inexorable? Lethality and transmissibility is easy, but it's got a lot of S's. So one might wonder how we attribute such lethality and transmissibility to viruses if they are inert without us. And what are viruses? Pieces of genetic information in search of cells, and they are a horizontal means of communication within individuals, between individuals, and even between species. That's also kind of how I feel it, right? They are a horizontal means of communication. And what are these viruses communicating? Can we listen? We can go deeper down this rabbit hole in a future post. I'd like to. The question is, how can we listen to a virus? And what is a virus saying? You know, how can we understand this? How can we understand what it's saying, what it's communicating? What does it communicate? Is it bad that viruses communicate, right? Are we just yelling at the little virus and being like, I don't want to hear what you have, I don't want to hear what you have to say. And the virus is like, yeah, but I'm doing my job. I'm just a virus. I can't live without you. But it is important to understand that even the man behind classical germ theory, Robert Koch, had difficulty finding cases where all four of his postulates necessary to scientifically confirm a microorganism can be the singular cause of a specific disease were fulfilled. Right. So it sounds like, a good guy. I don't know. Robert Koch had difficulty finding cases where all four of his postulates necessary to scientifically confirm a microorganism can be the singular cause of a specific disease were fulfilled. So apparently there are four postulates, and it's tough to find instances where all four postulates are fulfilled. Cool. That's us investigating reality and checking things out. That's the scientific method. That's fantastic stuff. Now, locking healthy and asymptomatic people into their homes and restricting movement and placing large fines on asymptomatic people walking around and potentially infecting other people, where right now I'm going to find the sentence that says the word wrong in it. Wrong. Oh, it's coming up. To learn more on the topic, read my article, Why Everything You Learned About Viruses is Wrong. Okay, I'll read it. You might peek into my recent conversations with Dr. Thomas Cowan, also the author of a new book on the new biology, where we discuss another way of understanding so-called germs. And finally, you can learn more about the work of my wife, Kelly Brogan, medical doctor, by reading Fear is the Sickness. Ooh, that sounds interesting. She's helping to get the word out about new German medicine, a biospiritual perspective on why we get sick that turns classical germ theory on its head. Okay. I wanted to read that together with you, with all the mistakes and fear associated with authority and the people with guns going with one theory when another potential better theory is already available. That's scary. And I understand fear is the sickness, but we're supposed to be afraid of people with guns. We're also supposed to be afraid of being patrolled and being asked where we're going. On the second day of the quarantine in Vienna, Austria, where I live, I went to a bakery and, asked for a cup of coffee and I had a sandwich. And I'm standing there at the table and I'm drinking the coffee and having the sandwich. And apparently we thought that it's 1.5 meters distance, which the social distancing thing seems to be something that's going to make people sick. It doesn't seem to be something that's promoting any kind of health whatsoever. I really, even if this current coronavirus thing subsides, the overwhelming effect of social distancing it makes people sick. In my opinion, that's going to be my postulate. So I'm having the coffee, and someone comes in and he goes, "That's illegal. That's forbidden. Das ist verboten," is what he said in German. And we were like, "What? We're 1.5 meters away from each other." The lady behind the counter, she was like, "No, I didn't know. What do you mean?" And da da da. 3 people in a fairly small bakery, but everybody keeping their quote unquote distance. This guy went to the cops, and then the guy went to the cops. This is day 2 of the quarantine. Nobody knows what the rules are. I get served a coffee. A guy goes to the police, and then the police came. And a few days later, I saw that person working there again, and she was like, "Guess what? The cops came." And she said, "I told them I didn't know him, blah, blah, blah," something like that. And it would have been a 2,000 euro fine. So fear might be the sickness, but if your company can be fined 2,000 euros for you serving a coffee, which is your job, it's day 2 of a quarantine. Whoa, right? I don't know. So fear, Dr. Brogan, Dr. Kelly, I understand that fear is a sickness, but fear also points us to what's wrong. So here we are on this investigation. We have scientists telling us, researchers telling us that everything that we've learned about viruses is wrong. And so I'm going to just go ahead and stand up for the little viruses and be like, hey, the viruses are saying you're misunderstanding us. We're good workers. We're messengers. We do good. We're here for you. We're not here to eat you up and kill you. But of course, the microbial world takes care of our flesh and our, bodies when we're done. That's also part of their job. It's called the cycle of life. So I'm deeply concerned about the potential of an era of destructive tyranny. And I don't think that the current implementation or the current rules of social distancing, where children are considered vectors of disease and the asymptomatic and healthy even are restricted from consensual contact, like shaking hands and giving a hug and that type of stuff. Just gonna go ahead and go out there and say that it's my opinion that that's very, very unhealthy, that it disrupts herd immunity and is not healthy for us humans. Okay, take care. I'll look forward to your reactions and comments. It's not really the time of day where I have a lot of people watching. Let's see if I do have 2 people watching, so give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. So please write me a comment. Let me know that you've heard what I had to say. And one of my things that I certainly seek out is I really like being I like it when I wind up being told where I'm wrong. Okay. So just read this paragraph about microbiome and germ theory for people who just joined. And let's continue to investigate. You might want to come over to my Facebook group for the country of Goodland. The good country of Goodland is a country where we make everything better together. So one of the things that we do in Goodland is we complain about our current countries and what's being done that's being done poorly, and we just make it better in Goodland. Take care. Look up the microbiome versus the germ theory. Let's go on this journey. Bye for now.